All right, what's up, guys? We're back with another video, and of course, with a trade recap. Now, what I will start off by saying is that we shouldn't have took a trade today, but we did, so we will have to go over that. Um, let's play a replay. So initially, we had seen that price was still, of course, bullish on gold, so very bullish. Um, then we marked out, what is this, the 30 minute? Might be a 30 minute, yep. We marked out this 30-minute fair value gap that was tapped into by this candle. So we wanted to see a retracement back to it. So, yep, as soon as Asian open, boom, we got a crazy candle, right, first minute, and then we dump. Where's that dump? And then we dump again. Boom, and 3 candles. 3 minutes, 3 candles. We traveled, let's see, 306 in 3 minutes. 306 in 3 minutes. So this was, I should have already seen this and then just been like, this is probably not gonna look good. But what we wanted to see was a bit lower, maybe just leave out these lows, and then to form some structure, and then we could probably target this fair value gap. But it didn't go that way. And I'll show you in just a minute. So we do get a reaction from this, from tapping that fair value gap. But see, the thing about this, and this is what we should have seen, and it was a red flag for us, but for some reason we still decided to take it, was that there was these big fair value gaps right here. So if you wanted to take an inverse, we would have to take an inverse of this, and then maybe target this little tiny little fair value gap right there. But here's another thing, right? On the 2 minute, you also had a fair value gap all the way up here. So bringing out this all the way up here. On the 3 minute, no fair value gap. And I don't believe one had formed on the 5 minute yet, but yeah, we get this candle down. So okay, maybe we get a resweep of this low, which I think we do get a resweep of that low. Yep, little resweep. But if you notice right here, there's no fair value gaps forming. Right, there's no fair value gaps, and not really good structure forming. Right, but this could be seen as good structure, but or decent structure. It was starting to form structure. But really, what I had seen, and what kind of made me enter this trade, for some reason, was this fair value gap. Once we actually inverse this fair value gap, this is when I decided to enter. But I also had seen that I should have seen that we just tapped it, and then inversed. So our entry was right by here at this candle, which really isn't. I think we were actually still targeting these highs, and we had put our stop loss right under this candle low. So like something like this is what we had, and when we should have really done this low, right? The last leg down. We should have stuck to this low. But also another thing that we could have seen is that we have this big 5 minute that we have to fill. The 3 minutes has to get filled. The 2 minutes still has to get filled. And the 1 minute, we just barely filled this one. If anything, your take profit should have been like right here. Or 14 take profit. According to my strategy. But, as we can see, price went here, and then lower, and tuck back into that, and lower. I do think we went lower. Yeah. So this is right where we got stopped. Well, I think, no, we had gotten stopped like right here. I think right here. That is where we got stopped. Stopped out of our position. But this is also just the structure right here. I mean, we had to put our stop loss down here. I mean, there was no reason to really put this up here. But you could also see that this is a 50%. But you do live and learn. You know, this was a loss, but it shouldn't have been. That's kind of why I am kind of mad at myself, because we should have fixed our stop loss and adjusted our contracts according to our stop loss, right? Because we could have just held on 116, take play on 10 contracts when we can only risk $500-$600, right? This would have blew the whole accounts. Just this move right, we were probably blowing the whole accounts. Yeah, it's like 106. So, really, overall, I would have said I shouldn't have taken the trade just because it wasn't. This isn't the type of market structure I want to see. When I'm trading this model, and I even said it to myself. I said that I probably don't want to take a trade on this day, just because of how the market was moving. We had this literally right at Asian Open. We had this dump, and then we just kind of danced around here. No fair value got forming except for bearish. And once we inverse this, I mean, we still tap into this, and this looks, pretty bearish if we're reacting off of a 1 minute fair value gap. Pretty cleanly there. We rejected. So that, of course, was not a good sign. That is something that we should have seen, because that is, that is insane. We shouldn't have just taken this. That is exactly why I have these indicators, so I can see. But to make sure I'm not missing anything. But of course, that we did pretty bad. But it is still a loss. But it is not a loss that I would say that is what is it called? Not a loss that should have been taken. Just because that none of the actual confirmations for the trade were actually there. There was maybe 2 confirmations out of many more, right? So because we wanted to see, okay, we got a manipulation. There's one check down. Let's see, we got a draw tool here. I just don't believe it was such a. It wasn't a trade that we should have taken, right? So we did have this, this manipulation down to this key level right here. We had that manipulation down right there, and then tapped into this higher level. It is higher time frame key level. So that is one that we that is one of the confirmations, and then we had an inverse, right? An inverse of a fair value gap and a semi V-shaped reversal. But we were failing confirmations of forming fair value gaps on the way up. I think the only fair value gap I had to go down to like the 30-second time frame to find a fair value gap, or even the 15-second. I think you have to go down to the 15-second time frame just to find a fair value gap. And so that isn't really something that we should have taken. But if we did, again, we should have either left it at this swing low or this swing low. instead of just putting, the candle that inversed low. But then again, I mean, I don't like having stop losses this huge, just because I mean this is a lot in drawdown. This pretty much just went straight to our stop loss. But yeah, I mean, overall, if we would have had our stop loss down there, I do believe, excuse me, maybe this trade played out. For 1-to-1, like right here. Yeah, for a 1-to-1 exactly. Which I mean, what are the chances that we would have probably got out there? It's not very likely. Just because we would probably be wanting to target, this liquidity right here. We want to be targeting, the sweep of this, and make a higher high, because we're supposed to be bullish. But if we would have held it up to those highs, let's see. You get edged out right there. Yep, and straight to stop loss right there. So either ways, I mean, it was just too much bearish momentum. I feel like to even go long here. Really, the trade was probably a honestly, it probably wasn't even the trade that you should have taken today. But anyways, I'm not completely mad at myself. We didn't lose a ton of money, right? I mean, we'll compare it to our, profit loss or profit. We lost 600 on both of the. Oh, excuse me. Oh gosh, that was crazy. That was like 5 hiccups back to back. Okay, but yeah, we did set this yesterday, where we can only risk 600, so that way, if a trade does go pretty bad, then we wouldn't want to see just a straight drop. But if it did go that way, we won't get completely messed up, right? So that's why we put it at 600. And 600 as well for this one, and our profit at 1490. So we did lose 600 on both. A total of 1200, and then on the first trade of the My Funded Futures funded account, we lost 1%, $500. Overall, not. I'll say it could be worse. It could have been worse. So I did buy 2 more 100K accounts with Apex with Trade of 8. So now I can, hopefully I'll be able to freaking trade all this with 5 accounts. So that is what we're gonna look for. And yeah, so that is pretty much it for this trade and this video. Appreciate you guys watching, and I'll be back on Sunday if I do decide to take a trade, and we will do better as far as recognizing these terrible setups. Like, this isn't even a setup that I would say is good at all. I mean, you could have put your, oops, if you would have put your stop loss there, still target these highs for 1 to 1, and you would be back in drawdown. So again, this is, I mean, this is a chop. This is an insane chop. But yeah, see you guys, and thank you for watching.